All right, demo time. Let me just bring up my notes so I know who we've got lined up for you all. Okay, here's the running order. Halfshot is going to talk about the tale of encrypted bridges. Michael is going to tell us about all the stuff he's been working on with widgets, and this is stuff that he's done on left panel widgets, right panel widgets, resizing modal widgets. So some of this is actually out there in the wild, and some of this is sort of, in the laboratory. Bruno is going to talk about session backup in Hydrogen. Ismail is going to talk about room creation UI on iOS. Yorick, as his swan song, is going to show us all about Matrix.to. I don't know if he's going to do a sort of interpretive dance or a song as part of that.
Is there anybody not doing a demo, Neil? Would that be easier to enumerate?
Yeah, Matthew, what's your demo?
I'm not doing a demo.
There we go. And Hubert, he tells me he's going to demo his device dehydration project if he can get it to work in time. So we've got a bit of a cliffhanger going on there. We don't know if he's going to be ready or not. Hubert, are you going to give the game away, or are you going to keep us in suspense?
It was working as of about an hour ago, so I will give it a go.
Halfshot, you've got the floor.
Right, yeah. Cool. It's in black and white. Nice. All very pale green. Right, so I'm Halfshot. I'm sort of doing bridge development stuff, for those who don't know me yet. And this is the Encrypted Bridges project. This is a project we've been doing for Wikimedia, which is a customer we quite like and want to keep happy. And they basically have lots of Slack channels which have encryption on them. We want to bridge them off to Matrix. They weren't too happy with the fact that we were going to bridge it straight into Matrix without encryption, so we're trying to do this project where we have RE2E connecting to the Slack, and it all works quite nicely. So roughly this is the architecture we've got at the moment, which has got the home server, pads alignment, and bridge. And this is kind of a bit of a Frankenstein project because we're sort of tiny bit using sync to do things, which is not the way bridges technically are meant to work, but because we're trying to get through phase 1 style, we have sync working through to get the encryption messages out. Just to explain through a general pads alignment is, it's basically a daemon that sits in the middle of your home server and your client and decrypts messages through sync. The nice way this works is you don't have to think about how encryption works. You just pull messages through, and they turn up looking like unencrypted messages, but nothing bad's actually happened. They are technically still encrypted. Everything still works. So that's roughly what it does. It does actually still work. And let's have a go of it. So this is a Slack channel I've stolen off Kader.
It's very black.
It's a very black channel. It's not really the intention.
Do a full screen share.
It's Wayland, which is a mistake. I'm not.
That's why you should never use Linux on the desktop, just saying.
One of the
latest Chromium on Linux, you can share your whole screen with Wayland, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I can't find my Chrome tab anymore.
How come Bruno's got a beer? Can I get a beer? Maybe a beer. Brendan, can I get a beer?
Just sneak through.
Thank you. You got them drunk them all. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves whilst Halfshot recomposes kernel.
We don't have beer. No, yeah, that's not so helpful. Right, maybe pass and try this again in 5 minutes. So the next demo.
Okay, Halfshot is literally going to go and reinstall its operating system to make screen sharing work, but it'll be amazing when we get there. Who's next, Neil?
Michael, are you out there?
Yep. Let's try and get this to work.
It's a very high quality.
You might need to zoom a snidget.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. All right. So this is a demo of my widgets work. Widgets are one of the forms of integrations that we support within Element. So as you may have seen in recent releases, we have changed the way that the right panel looks. So we used to have a massive cluster of icons in the top right. Now we've sort of simplified it down. And we're actually going to get rid of some of these as well, where notifications are going to go elsewhere, just to clean up sort of the hierarchy up here. Originally, you could only see widgets sort of at the top of your timeline. Now we prioritize you being able to see them sort of in more places. So for example, you can open a widget in the right, or you could put it back to the top. You can also have widgets in the left panel now. And
very exciting.
As of today, there's also modal widgets, which can interact with their parents. So for example, if I click secondary here, in 3 seconds, it will close itself and tell the parent, oh, I clicked on the secondary button. So an example sort of user flow for this could be that I have, for example, a calendaring widget on the right, and then I click new event, and it shows me like a little pop-up to enter all the new event details rather than having to squish them all into the little sidebar. And then I just click, submit or whatever, and it goes back, does all the stuff, and creates that event for me. Another thing we have now is the ability to resize your widgets. So if you want more or less space, in the future we'll also have sorts of like grid layouts and stuff like that. The left panel stuff is mostly for things like calendaring as well. So let's say you've got a room dedicated to a class. You could have a widget here, which is that class's schedule. Whereas in the left, you could have your own personal calendar, for example, which just shows you like the upcoming events just for you. But after all, these are just integrations that you could just have anything sort of in. We're just sort of paving that path for widget developers to use, really.
Nice.
This is incredibly cool. This is the first time seeing the modal stuff. So does that mean that our integration manager is going to become a modal widget at last? Please, please, please.
I guess it could.
Anybody? Rick is nodding.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
Having a picture is nodding.
Super cool, Michael. By the way, I'm really impressed. And yeah, integration managers and widgets sounds like a fantastic idea.
Awesome. Yeah, really cool. Congratulations on building a operating system, Michael. Or at least windowing manager. Cool. Who's next?
Bruno.
Hello. Let me just share my screen.
Did you hear that we don't have any beer, by the way? This is a disaster.
This is one of the perks of remote work. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Yes.
Cool. So this is Hydrogen project that I've been working on for the last 5-6 weeks now. It's sort of grew out of a spare time project. It's a lightweight Matrix client, and we're adapting it for a client to work on IE11, which Element Web does not support. So what I worked on the last 2 weeks is adding session backup to it. So if you log in, it does support end-to-end encryption now, but if you log in, you'll be missing the keys for messages that have been sent in the past, and session backup fixes that. So you can get also see your encrypted history from before you logged in. So that's what I'll be demoing. I'm gonna log in, and it's gonna take a few seconds.
So the Matrix.org is up.
I hope so. Yes, seems so. Everybody can have a sip of their beers in the meantime.
Almost.
So we're logged in now. If I go to an encrypted room, you can see I don't have the keys for it. Right now it's delaying. Yeah, you see here the banner pops up after 10 seconds. Let me get you're going to see this now. I have to rotate it. But it enters the session, the secret storage key, then all the messages start encrypting automatically. They also update room history, the room list rather, so end-to-end encrypted rooms will also start sort accordingly. That's it really. This is only read-only for now, so Hydrogen will not yet write to your session backup. So any messages you send with Hydrogen, if you then log in again, those messages still won't decrypt. For that, Hydrogen would also need to back up, but that will come in the future. This is just read-only for now. Any questions?
Looks great.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I've been using it a lot and demoing it to people, and it feels like a fully all singing, all dancing, end-to-end encrypted lightweight Matrix client, which is pretty cool. Well done, Bruno. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Next up is Ismail, who's going to talk about iOS room creation UI. Ismail, is this your first company demo?
Yeah.
Ah, well, good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. You have the floor.
Thanks. I will just share my screen. I won't let you to see me.
We can see.
Okay. So, yeah. It is our client. I think everybody knows the Element iOS application. I don't talk about too much. First thing, we have made that we have contextualized the floating action buttons here. So in this tab, you see this, and in People's tab, you just open the new chat screen, and in the Rooms direct tab, you just see the rooms in directory, and you can just join and start conversation. And for today, I'll show the new Create Room screen for you. Actually, this is it. You can type some room name and copy it. And you can also select an avatar. Let's use this. And you can also select if this room will be public. And if it will be public, you can also set an alias, set an address for that. And you can you have the option to list this room in the directory. Let's make it private for now. And yeah, let's create it.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, thanks.
It's really nice. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and we are in the room conversation here, and as you can see, the room state events are collapsed by default. And if you tap that, you could see the events here, and that's it. And
Well,
there is another screen for the room settings. We had abandoned the preview header, which was showing here before. And yeah, that's basically it. You just go to the old settings screen when you tap one of them. Yeah. That's all.
well, what's the name of the panels which you get now in iOS which keep coming up? Because it all seems to be using the same kind of new visual idiom of this sort of foreground thing that comes up. What are they called?
Well, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe we can re-implement these screens in future. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the technical name for them, according to Apple, is just modality. So it's about using modality, and then Android calls them bottom sheets as well. But they're just generally called modality, and there's types of sheets.
Yeah. And it's new on iOS 13.
Okay, very, very pretty. Really exciting to see iOS making sort of big visual improvement. Congratulations, Ismail.
Thank you.
Yeah, super cool. Thank you. Right, Yorick. So we have a phrase about no cookies till you ship. And last week, Yorick shipped. He put out Matrix.to. I didn't send him any cookies because I can't do that over Matrix or Jitsi. But nonetheless, we should call out. It's a big milestone, and he's going to show you what it is that he shipped.
Great, thanks, Neil. I'm still glad about the cookies, but I'm actually back in the UK next week, so maybe we should
make it a bit easier. Okay, brilliant.
Basically, I worked on Matrix.to. For those of you who don't know, everything in Matrix has an identifier, or a resource identifier, as they're called. So every user has a user identifier, every room has a room identifier. And these things basically identify you or the resource on the Matrix network. And before Matrix.to, the old version, which already did this, you would just copy and paste them into whatever client you're at. Matrix.to is like, that kind of sucks. It would be nice if you could click on them and just get linked to them correctly to your right client. So that existed and was working. And then design had a look at this and they said, well, since we already have this, why wouldn't it be nice if it was just a really good user landing page for a room or another user So now it's much easier for a person to go and look at a particular resource and understand what it is before they even try to join it through their client. So I'm going to give you a preview of what that looks like, although I'm sure some of you have already used it since it launched, which I'm pretty happy. This is Matrix.to. Basically, on the root page, anyone can just specify whatever resource they are to make a Matrix.to link. Now, this is probably rarely done. It usually comes from the client itself. But for example, here is me creating a Matrix.to link for myself on Matrix. Oh, just looking at me, just chatting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you impersonate it?
1 second. Is that working?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Hello, Shirley.
Okay. Infinite Shirleys. Right. So, well, I can show the new link button then. If you go new link, you go back to the thing that I was talking about, where you can just type in resource and someone can create a new link like this. This, for the receiver, looks like this. You've been invited to join your work at Matrix.org, right? We had a privacy concern because we don't want Matrix.to to be a centralized service where which can kind of spy on all the rooms that you're looking at. So on the client side, what you can do is you can specify which home servers can fetch data for you. And if you accept it, then you get a nice, pretty invite. Now this works as well from the new widget panel that Michael was saying. You can share a room, copy this, open it, and then you get this, which doesn't tell you much. But if you have remembered to use whatever server, you should get a very pretty little invite about element dev and who should not be and who should be chatting in element dev. And then you can accept, select your clients, one of many, and some of them just have textual instructions which you can copy and paste, but the rest can just be linked straight to. Now, one little Easter egg for everybody out there, this might be really handy, is if you accept an invite, you can say show experimental clients and you will have element develop at the bottom and you will also get staging soon. So then you can actually open it in the right clients because then everyone uses those. That's kind of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Yorick. Matrix.to has had more love than it has ever had. It's looking great. Yeah. So thank you again for hacking on it. And thanks to the design team for going and providing proper grown-up design rather than the awful thing I put together in 2014, thinking it would last about 2 days.
Very nice.
It's really cool. One question, do the rooms have to be public for the invite to work, or does it also handle actual Matrix invites?
So rooms have to be public for them to work, and the room directory also needs to be public. There is some room peeking spec stuff happening. I don't know if that will impact it in any way, but someone else can comment on that.
Cool. Just thinking how I can put hydrogen in that list.
Yeah. Well, you can open a PR at the bottom. There's a link to add clients. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Hubert, you said an hour ago it was working. Shall we see? Shall we see if the bit rot has set in or whether you're still fully functional?
Yeah, we'll give it a go. Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Your
Can you
antlers
see my screen?
Not yet.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to show is called Device Dehydration, which is sort of a funny name for a feature for end-to-end encryption, which allows you to receive encrypted messages while you're offline. So I did do a demo, I uploaded a video a couple months ago showing Element talking to a sort of a dumb client that I created that had device dehydration. And since then, I now have device dehydration working in Element itself. Although it's not merged yet, but I'm working on getting it merged. So here I have just app.element.io. I'm logged in as Bob, and I have a room with Alice. And as you can see, Alice doesn't have any devices logged in. It doesn't show any devices. So if I ignore the old messages in this room, if I say hi to Alice right now, and then Alice logs in, then you can see that she cannot read the message that Bob just sent. Now, if you go back here to Bob's client, you can see that Alice now has 2 devices. And what's actually happened is that when Alice logged in, it created her normal device in Element, but it also created a dehydrated device, which is sort of dummy device that gets stored on the server, so that the next time Alice logs in, her client will dehydrate the device from the server so that she can read messages that were sent while she was logged out. So if Alice logs out now, then you can see now she only has 1 device, which is the dehydrated device. Oops. And now if Bob sends another message to Alice, then the encryption keys will be sent to that dehydrated device, so that when Alice logs in, so now it's prompting for a passphrase, which is the passphrase to dehydrate the device, because it needs to be stored encrypted on the server so that the server can't use it to read encrypted messages. I'm working on making it not prompt you twice for the password. And apparently I typed that in wrong. And there I can see the message that Bob sent. So that's it.
Hooray! Dehydration. Congratulations, Hubert.
And is the idea that this is a standard feature for everyone, or is this something that people configure?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We did it for a client, and I think they want it as a standard feature. But we could probably set it up so that people can decide if they want to use it or not.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
I have a question as well, if I can. I thought I was under the impression this work was for one-time key exhaustion, but this seems to be also for reading messages before you logged in. Could you?
One-time key exhaustion is a different thing, although it is related. So the issue with having a dehydrated device is that if it's sitting there for a long time, then it's going to get a lot of keys, and then the device will run out of one-time keys. So I did work on one-time key exhaustion as part of this work, but the main work was the dehydration part.
Okay, I'll have to read the MSC. Cheers.
Yeah, there's 2 MSCs. There's one called fallback keys and one called dehydration.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks, everyone. So we
Hubshot has been bouncing around waiting for.
Oh, God, you're right. I was just at the end of my list, and I thought that was it. Tell us the tale of encrypted bridges.
Very memorable. It's a problem.
It's a struggle.
Right, there we go. Well
Look,
done.
it's rendering. It's something you wanted. Right, good. Yes, I'll go through very, very quickly. This is a Slack bridge connected to a patent alignment, which is encrypting things. This is a room with myself, which isn't very interesting. So let's create a private channel between me and some friends you might know about before. So let's call this Take Over the World. I haven't gone those already. If we add Kader to it, Slack was actually very slow. And then let's do Christian as well for good luck. Which one is it? So we add these people to the room, then they just appear. Then in theory, if I say hello, like that, and then I also, Slack will shut up. I also go to here, I should have a room, which has all appeared. Join. And so this is basically the private version of the channel all appearing automatically without any interactions from me. That is not decrypted because I've just joined the room, but then appear it should happen that Christian will say something over the Slack bridge, perhaps.
You've got unscripted, Christian.
Yeah, you might do something.
There we go.
Cool. And hopefully it's encrypted if we're lucky. I'm trying to remember how you do that. It's encrypted there. So presumably this is decrypting things.
And on the Slack side.
And on the Slack side, we should also have messages there. Yes, encryption.
Hey!
And it also does images and such things as well. And I'll quickly demo that while we've got some time. Within like 30 seconds, do all this. So I've got a goose picture. Hopefully that's not gone well for Slack. Yep, you have goose. If you look on the other side, we should also have goose on the other side. If I'm lucky. Maybe. Yes. Is it decrypted? Does it go back the other way? Maybe it'll go back the other way. Should have two-way goose. That's hopefully a thing. Yeah, so there you go. Two-way goose and
full duplex goose.
Hang on. So it's end-to-end encrypted between your Matrix client and the bridge, and then it's not encrypted on the Slack side, or what am I looking at here?
Encryption ends at the point where your bridge talks to Slack. Now, the point here is that customers sometimes have a Slack level of encryption, which is kind of crap. There's sort of keys are stored somewhere else. So they have a weird encryption system. If you want to be a customer that has that weird Slack encryption, you also want to talk to Matrix, and you want to have your messages mostly encrypted at rest on both sides, this is what you'd be using. Unfortunately, Slack don't yet speak Om, so at the moment we still have to do this whole decryption at the point of transit, but at rest it's completely encrypted. So there's a small portion of this whole bit which isn't encrypted, but the rest completely is. And it's the best we can hope for.
Right. Very nice.
Good.
Okay, I felt confident a moment ago that we had done all our demos. Have we actually done all of our demos? Has anyone got any last minute things they want to fresh off the press? They want to, wow us with?
I can juggle.
I could show the slide test for federated peaking on Dendrite, but it's literally a solitary line saying one test passed. It made me very happy when it passed. Let's wrap up. Thanks, everybody. Sorry for running long.
Have a good weekend.
Everyone, bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.